Hey, what is up you guys? Welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video. Today we're talking about, oh my god, we're talking about deadly shark attacks. I don't really want to talk about this. Okay, so this is the top 10 deadliest shark attacks, and things are about to go down. Today's comment question of the day is, what do you think is the worst way to die? For a lot of people, especially on this list, they're probably gonna say by a shark. And I might agree. So starting this list, in at number 10, we're talking about 17-year-old Brian Wilson. His attack is distinguished as the first recorded shark attack in the history of California. He was swimming about 40 feet off from the shore, and he was with a friend in Pacific Grove, California, when suddenly a shark grabbed onto him and started moving him side to side. He attempted to scream, but the shark just wouldn't let go. The shark completely dragged him out of the water before dragging him back into the ocean. A few moments later, Brian reappeared and continued to scream. Witnesses attempted to swim to help him, and when they brought him back to the shore, he already bled to death. Brian's right hamstring and buttocks had been completely severed, and his right leg had severe bite marks. Moving into number 9, we have Henry Borse. He was swimming off the coast of Australia with 2 other divers, and they were playing with seals. All of a sudden, a great white shark decided to join in on the fun, and the shark came up under Henry, and the shark grabbed onto his legs with its powerful jaw. He attempted to fight back, trying to gouge out the shark's eyes, and he reached deep inside the shark's throat to try to grab his legs out. However, his attempts were not enough to stop the beast, because the shark ripped his legs off clean. The other divers were able to drag Henry, what was left of him, back into the boat, and they were able to get to the land, and Maddox arrived quickly. Henry survived the attack, and actually it was all caught on tape, and it was later used for his documentary called Savage Shadows. Up next, in at number, we have a French surfer whose arm completely ripped off. And this is after being attacked by several sharks. This happened on March 6, 2009. He was a 19-year-old French student who was surfing with some friends when he was viciously attacked by a group of hungry sharks. He desperately made his way back to the boat where his friends were screaming for him, but the group of sharks began biting his legs and eventually succeeded in ripping off his entire arm. He managed to make his way to the boat, but unfortunately moments later he died from the shark-inflicted wounds. Okay, so moving on to this list, into unlucky at this time, number 7, we have Lloyd Skinner. He was pulled underwater and dragged out to sea by a shark that was described by a witness as a dinosaur-sized gigantic white shark. This happened at Fish Hoek Beach in Cape Town, which is located in South Africa. The shark came towards him at about 25 miles an hour and engulfed his entire body in its mouth. Apparently Lloyd was standing chest deep, about 100 meters from the shore, and he was adjusting his goggles as the shark attacked. All that remained was his goggles and this big patch of just dark blood. Cape Town's Disaster Management Service has issued a warning hours before the incident because sharks have been spotted in the water. But the shark warning flag was not displayed on the beach at this time. If someone actually did their job right, this could have been avoided. Up next, in at number 6, these attacks will make you think twice about swimming in the Jersey Shore. 4 people were killed as a result of the shark attacks along the Jersey Shore during the deadly heat wave of 1916. The first victim was identified as 25-year-old Charles. He was attacked by a group of sharks that stripped the flesh from his thigh, caused him to bleed out, and inevitably bled out to his death. A couple of days later, Charles Broder was killed after a shark ripped into his abdomen and severed both of his legs. And finally, the last 2 attacks occurred 6 days later, when one man was dragged underneath by a violent shark, and he was never seen again. The other teenager had his leg severely chewed, but he was able to get rescued and was quickly rushed to the hospital, where doctors were actually able to save his leg. It was reported that after these shark attacks occurred, a fisherman caught a great white shark, and when they cut into the shark's stomach, they discovered 15 pounds of human flesh. The town believes that this is the shark responsible for all these attacks. In at number 5, this person actually got a lot of attention and fame surrounding a shark attack that occurred back in 2003. So of course, I'm referring to Bethany Hamilton. On October 31st, 2003, Bethany, who was just 13 at the time, went out for a morning surf in Kauai with her brother, best friend, and her best friend's father. She was lying on the surfboard with her arm dangling into the water when a 14-foot tiger shark severed her left arm just below the shoulder. Her best friend's father, who was very resourceful because he was able to use the surfboard leash and create a tourniquet around the stump so she wouldn't lose as much blood. She was immediately rushed to the hospital, and when she arrived, she had already lost 60% of her blood, and she was in hypovolemic shock. Despite the trauma from the incident, Bethany was determined to return to the sport of surfing, and just 3 weeks after the incident, she returned to the waters, and since then she has gone on to win many competitions. If you thought this list couldn't get any worse, what the heck was that? Well, coming in at number 4, we have a 10-year-old boy who was attacked and killed by a shark in just 4 feet of water. So you guys who are thinking if you don't swim too far out, you'll never be attacked, think again. It's a common misconception that fatal shark attacks can be avoided if just stayed in shallow water, but sadly this is not the case for this one. The little boy died from shark-inflicted wounds while he was on a sandbar 50 feet from shore at a Virginia beach, where the water was just 4 feet deep. And the story gets even more upsetting, because the little boy's father was right next to his son when it happened. So the father tried to save his son by beating it on its head, but it was no use at this time. This was the first fatal shark attack in history of Virginia, and investigators believe the shark was a smaller species, like a sandbar or a sand tiger shark. Shirley Ann Durden makes her appearance in at number 3. Back in 1985, she was diving in Australia, when all of a sudden she was at the mercy of a great white shark. The shark was 20 feet long, and the shark tore Shirley's body in half. This is in front of her husband and 4 children. I can't imagine what they went through seeing this right there. When rescuers came, all that remained was her headless torso just floating out there in the water. Within moments, the shark came back and just devoured what was left of her. Okay, so we're almost at the end of this list. Coming in at number 2, we're talking about this man right here, Rodney Fox. He was just 13 at the time when a great white shark grabbed him around the torso and dragged him through the water upside down. The predator released him because Rodney was able to gouge out his eyes. But shortly after that, the shark returned and attacked again. Rodney jammed his arm down the shark's throat and was able to pull himself free, but in doing so he ripped the flesh in his arm. However, the shark wasn't finished and he came back for more. This time he dragged Rodney across the ocean floor. After nearly drowning, Rodney was released and he was pulled back onto the boat. His ribcage and upper stomach was exposed to the rescuers and had to leave his wetsuit on to prevent his organs from spilling out. Miraculously, Rodney survived. He had a 4-hour-long surgery to go along with 360 stitches. Okay, so finally we've all made it into the number 1 spot for the most deadliest shark attacks of all time, and this one's being referred to as the USS Indianapolis attacks. More than 900 men were thrown to the mercy of the sharks in the Pacific Ocean when their American warship was split into 2 by Japanese torpedoes in July of 1945. When rescuers arrived 4 days later, they found 579 men dead. They were just chewed to pieces and there were sharks circling. One of the 316 survivors, Woody James, well, he said, "The sharks were around us, hundreds of them. Everything would be quiet and then you would just hear someone screaming when they got attacked. He knew that a shark got him and they're left for dead." I don't know what I would do in that situation. I would just be like, oh my god, please not me, please not me. Well, there you guys have it. That's the top 10 deadliest shark attacks. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of having second thoughts of swimming in the ocean. Any source of water that has sharks, count me out. And also don't forget to tell me, what do you think is the worst way to die? Let me know in the comment section below, and your comments can be seen in the next video. Okay, bye. So let me know what you guys think of this video, and what do you guys think of sharks? I mean, sharks are so damn scary, and after watching survival videos of how to fend off shark attacks, gouging it in its eyes seems to be the most successful thing to do. But hopefully we're never put into that situation. Let me know your guys' comments and thoughts in the comment section below of this video, and if you guys want to continue watching, there's videos on the side of me. There's 2 of them. If you guys click on them, you guys can get caught up on other top 10 videos. Okay, bye.